Whoa, what an episode with our good friend Paul Sanneman.
Paul, he's like
Dr. Dollar. Give us a little recap.
He's an encyclopedia on builders. He's
a large language model.
Yeah.
He's not an encyclopedia, he's a large language model.
Yeah, he is. Yeah. Actually, that's much better. Yeah, he is a large language model. Paul, I thought the discussion with Paul was interesting. Paul runs a firm that specializes in construction recruiting. He's got an insanely high success rate. And he's also, for a man with a boat in Hawaii, extremely up to date on the latest technological trends. So
not only that, delivers with speed. I mean, if you're looking for energy, this man was full conviction. He'll tell you the ways that it works. And honestly, you got to listen to him. I mean, he has over 300,000 contractors, builders, people that are ready to be hired in the system. He's over thousands of contractors he's worked with that he's placed customers with. He's got a hell of an insight, and he has a really fully baked out idea of how builders can win and how they potentially could lose, whether they leverage technology or not, specifically AI.
Yeah, cool. Let's get into it.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Builders, Budgets, and Beers. Today we're joined with Paul Sanneman. Paul,
where's my beer?
Yeah, Paul, sorry. I don't have a beer. I'm drinking a matcha tea here.
I got a Starbucks. Does that count?
Yeah,
what's in that Starbucks cup, Paul? What do you got in there? You got a beer in there?
When you go to an expensive hotel, you always put your alcohol in a Starbucks cup so nobody notices, right?
There we go.
And it's classy. And it's not just a red Solo cup. You got a little class to you, a little Starbucks.
Right. Absolutely.
Paul, give us a little background on yourself. Let listeners know who's going to be educated.
Well, first, excuse me. So here we go. First, I'm an old guy. I've been doing, consulting for 50 years. I sound like it, right?
No. It's the whiskey in that Starbucks.
I've worked at over 2,000 contractors plus.
Damn.
And a couple of years ago, I started a recruiting company. We've hired over 2,500 people, and 95% of them worked out. We're now one of the largest recruiters in the United States for.
That's insane. You hired 2,500 people and 95% worked out, and they're working in construction. What do you define worked out as? Like still?
They've been there at least a year.
Wow.
That's insane. So what, I guess, aside from construction, we might be bird walking, but what's like an industry standard? Like just for context, it's 90%.
My guess is 50%. I'm just guessing 50. I would say 50. You could ask
we should spot check that. We'll put it in the notes. But that's impressive.
I could ask ChatGPT and find out. My guess is it's 50. I use ChatGPT for everything. It's my new best friend, right? Everything I know. And my wife hates it. She goes, "Can't you get away from your phone?" I go, "But hey, everything I know, it's right here. I just ask it and we're there." So
yeah.
Anyway, my guess is it's way higher than that. It's like probably 50%. It's because contractors suck at recruiting. They're just not good at it.
Yeah. Love that. Love the whole statement. And that what we're talking about?
Finance, right? They keep their recruiting about the same as they do their books or finance. They're probably better at finance recruiting, actually. But I've been doing this for God knows 50 years, and the biggest problem isn't telling them what to do. It's getting to do stuff. That's I'm old enough. I'll tell you, when I started in this business, contractors were using pagers, and then they went to the cell phones and went, "I'm not going to use a cell phone. It disturbs the peace of mind in my truck." And then we went to email, and they went, "Email's a fad. I don't need to have an email." And then websites, they went website. Look at, I'm good. People find me. I don't need a damn website. What a waste of time. And then went from website to project management software. And they go, "Look at, I got my Excel spreadsheets. I don't need Builder Trend or code. I'm good with my spreadsheets." So my latest one, guess what? AI. They go, right. AI, AI is sort of like abortion. You're for it or against it, right? It's like, it's either going to destroy the planet or it's going to save the planet. And it's very political. You can't, some people just are morally against AI.
Really?
Because they think it's going to destroy the planet. And unfortunately, it's sort of like.
No, you're talking about in construction, people are morally against AI?
Right.
Really?
Well, we're going to dig a ditch. You're going to use a shovel, and I'm going to use a backhoe. Go. I mean, it's stupid.
Yep.
Who's going to win? Yep. AI is changing everything. The one thing that's
trivia. Real quick, trivia.
Yes.
I want to give you a trivia question. You use the shovel and the backhoe example.
Right.
When was the hammer created? First form.
I would say a club by a caveman beating his wife. I don't know.
Thousands of years ago. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Thousands of
beating a
years
dog,
ago.
beating something. Right.
When was the nail gun created?
I don't know. What, 50 years ago?
1950. Almost 175 years ago, almost exactly.
Right.
1950. And think about how long people were using a hammer or a form of a club.
Right.
1950 comes along. You've got these artisan framers that are like, hell no, nail gun, never. Subfloor installed, never. It took less than 75 years for you not to see a single hammer swung on a job site now, and how's it getting thrown up with nail guns at a much better delivery. I love the example. I had to throw it in there.
Well, you know what's going to happen is it's really a lot worse than that, because AI is disrupting a lot of other industries. Like, your astrologer, your doctor, your therapist, your attorney are going to be on your phone, right? Literally.
Mm-hmm.
And those industries are getting totally disrupted. Well, what does that do? The interesting part, financial, is that there's hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars with no place to go. So where are they going to go? They're going to go to construction. And you used to have 20, roofing companies in a small town. You're going to have 5 in 3 years. Because what's going to happen is AI is disrupting all these other industries. So all this capital, private equity, is going into construction. And I got a guy who's a client. He says, I got $10 million. I know what to do with it. I'm going to start a roofing company in Nebraska. I said, why? He goes, well, they got a lot of hail in Nebraska. All the roofers don't know what the hell they're doing. They don't know how to market. They don't know how to recruit. I'm just going to go in there and kick ass and win. He's probably right.
Yeah.
And
go big red. Go big.
And this is what's happening in construction. And so you're either going to get on board or, either going to get killed or get bought out. You got your choice. But it's an amazing time in construction. It's never happened like this before.
Yeah. It is an interesting point, Paul, just around the relative attractiveness of types of businesses. If you're in the business of like building real physical things, it's going to take a long time I think it's going to take a long time for AI to replace that.
Back history. Let's say, remember when there was downtowns that had drugstores and supermarkets and your general store and the old downtown, right?
Yep.
What happened is, and they got people in downtown and go, there's no good people here. My customers are bad. And they make all these excuses for not succeeding in their local drugstore because there was no good people, no good market, whatever. Okay. Walmart comes into town. They go outside of town 1.5 miles. Somehow they find 500 people. I don't know where they find them, but they get 500 people. They improve a distribution chain, and then they just suck all the business out of downtown. Like, oh, well.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, I think if contractors don't get on board, they're going to be put out of business, not because AI is going to put them out of business, because the money that's coming from businesses that AI is disrupting is coming into construction in huge amounts. And if you don't get on board, you then get bought out or out of business. And it's sad, but I think it's true. The little local contractor that says, oh, I just do a great job. I work with my friends, blah, blah, blah. The downtown drugstore, it's going to be gone.
Yeah. That's actually a really interesting point, Paul. It's like, all right, so I'm an investor. I'm thinking before AI, I love software. Software is great. I don't really invest in construction. Now, I'm not so sure about software. Maybe software is really easy to build now with AI. Maybe I should shift back to.
Well, you know what you do is you build construction software, right?
Huh?
I mean, a friend of mine just got $5 million for a good idea in construction software, right?
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not trying to rip on our business, but
no, but it is where things are going, because you're helping an industry that's not going to disrupt it.
Well, yes, but then you're right? So like on a relative basis, though, construction, anything like in real life, in-person services, experiences.
Anything, like construction is going to be a while before, like the dock workers are on strike because it's easy to get a load of ship with robots.
Yeah.
And actors are on strike because you can get AI to write a script and do a movie set.
Exactly.
But you can't get AI to put on a roof or do a remodel, at least for the foreseeable future. So all that cash has to go somewhere.
Yeah. So I think there's a couple points there then. So there's the relative attractiveness of construction's increasing. And then the second point, which is what you're suggesting, is that AI to be using AI to run the business, like in the back office, in the office, is also making construction
Right.
more
I
attractive.
mean, you don't. The good news is, as a contractor, you can adopt software that's way cheaper than it used to be. Like in your system, AI can run your accounting, AI can do your marketing, AI can help you recruit. I mean, it's way, you got to take advantage of the technology or you're in trouble.
Well, and that's what you made the comment of, is like you reference like the downtown thing, but you also say like construction is massively insulated, right? Because it's gonna be a while before AI can put a roof on a house.
Right.
What, and just like adopting software is like, that's kind of easy, right? But what do you think the successful businesses are going to be doing from leveraging AI that's going to make them successful over the others?
They're going to use AI to market, AI to recruit, and they're going to see, like, I can literally put a whole, because I use offshore and AI, I can put your HR department together, do all recruiting for you, make it all done, do all the assessments, the testing. What used to cost, $20,000 a month, I can do it for $1,500 a month, right? And that is new. That wasn't around 10 years ago, right?
Yeah.
The same thing, you do the same in marketing. I mean, so if you adapt, you will survive. But if you want to, I can tell you how to adapt in recruiting, because I know that one really well.
Yeah,
totally. But just to recap, what you're saying is it's truly as simple as being open-minded enough to consider the options that were not available 12, 24, 36 months ago.
Right. I mean, don't be a Luddite when you're a contractor when it comes to adopting technology, or you'll be gone.
Yeah,
that's in their blood. Like, it's a very common thing for like builders to hang on to.
Time. I mean, contractors don't, the one thing that contractors are really bad at is thinking of, I'm going to give you some, this ties into what I talked about. Okay. There are several beliefs that get in contractors' face that screw them over, in my opinion, when it comes to recruiting. One is, it's like marketing. Only recruit when you need someone. That's bullshit. You should recruit all the time. But unfortunately, contractors have this brain, I need a project manager. I will hire a project manager. I'm done. No good business in this country just recruits when they need somebody. They recruit all the time. So they're in trouble. Another one, employees are expensive. Bullshit. You can't make any money without employees. But they're looking, I can't afford John Doe because he's $120,000 a year. Well, if he's not making you money, you shouldn't hire him.
Well, yeah, Paul, what about the belief around, or the attitude now that there's a huge trade shortage and it's really hard to find skilled labor?
No, it's just you don't know how to do it. It has nothing to do with the trade shortage. I mean, it's where I find 2,000 people and got 95% to work out.
So you said there's no trade shortage?
There is a trade shortage if you can't be bad at it and still get people. You can't say, hey, ask your friends if we need a carpenter and get a carpenter. You can't say, I'm just using word of mouth to market my company. It ain't going to work anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And you can't say, I'm going to do my accounting on QuickBooks and I'm done. I'm sorry, it is going to be there. The next one, this is it. We can do it ourselves. Yeah. Good luck with that. Right. I mean, that's what they think. They go, I can do it. I've always recruited myself. No problem. That's where the damn labor shortage is. They don't know what they're doing. There's not a shortage of labor. There's a shortage of knowing how to find the labor that's there.
So how do you find it? Reece is in Denver. What would you do to help Reece find a skilled electrician?
Well, let me. I'm going to talk here. I can do that in a second, but I'm going to go through 4 more. Just going to.
All right.
Recruit in the construction industry. Bullshit. We found wedding planners that just kill it as selections coordinators. This is the one that really kills you.
Oh, that's an interesting point. I like that one.
Is hire fast, fire slow. That kills a company. You hire fast because you're desperate, right? You're at the bar and it's 2:00 in the morning. Bad analogy, but it's like, it's bad. So you hire the warm body, right? You hire fast, and then he kills your organization, or she kills your organization because they show up late. They're not there. They don't fit. You've been 20 years building this corporate culture. One guy can destroy it in 6 months because he doesn't fit the culture. So you hire fast and you fire slow because you're anybody else, and it just kills organizations.
Yep.
The truth is, you need to hire slow. Look, find the right person, and you fire fast. The minute a guy, I asked this question, I asked everybody on this podcast. I'll ask this of our host here. Is there anybody in your company that you wouldn't rehire today if you had to do it over again?
You're asking Reece. Reece can't answer this question.
Are you asking, or are you asking the audience?
I was asking Reece who doesn't. I mean, I would say if there's okay you wouldn't rehire, you should fire that dude, right? That's
okay. So you're asking. So you're saying, like, are there any people at the organization that I wouldn't rehire again today?
Yeah. And anybody, and if anybody you wouldn't rehire, you should fire. It's simple. But you don't fire them because you haven't got anybody else, right?
It might be obvious people that aren't here today that I wouldn't rehire. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. And the other one is, recruiting's like a project. It's not a project. It doesn't have a beginning and has an end. It's like accounting or marketing, anything else. It's an ongoing process. It is not a project. Unfortunately, contractors think about that. So to ask your question, how did I find 2,500 people get knife and worked out? There's some simple steps that you have to follow. All right. And you can do them with AI. I'll show you how to do it in a second with AI. But
Paul, what's the hardest role to fill? Let's focus on that one. What's the hardest role you'd say to fill? What's the hardest? Well, if Reece had a home building business,
it varies day to day. Today it happens to be a journeyman carpenter in Portland. I mean,
journeyman carpenter in Portland.
It varies.
Really?
Sometimes, yeah. I'd rather find a CEO in Portland than journeyman carpenter in Portland. Now, in Reno, it's easy. So we were in every market in the U.S. and Canada, and literally. The hard to find person changes depending on national disasters, unions, and a bunch of other stuff. There isn't a quick answer to that. But in general,
what's the hardest role to find in Denver, do you think?
In Denver, I would say maybe a painter, a qualified painter. It depends. Okay. You got to get a hold of it. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
It varies. We recruit, as I said, we have at any given time 500 or 600 jobs posted any day. And we go through 6,000 or 7,000 resumes a week. So we know what's going on in the country, but it changes. So the first thing you need to do is you got to write a killer job ad. This is not a job description. It's an ad. You got to get somebody to quit their job and come to work for you. You don't want to hire anybody who doesn't have a job. So you got to write an amazing job ad. You got to place this ad everywhere you can possibly put it. We put it on 100 job boards, LinkedIn, Facebook. There's literally 300 or 400 places we put it. Okay. This is the one that's going to kill you guys. Respond in real time. The minute somebody hits apply, we respond in real time. Speed to lead, right? Like in marketing. How often do you have to respond if somebody calls you and says, I need a roof or I need a remodel, whatever? If you respond in the first 10 seconds, you're good. The first minute, not so good. The first 5 minutes, you're done. Same thing in recruiting. You got to respond in real time. The average person's not going to respond to 300 people in real time. That's what we do.
Are you giving custom responses to each of these applications, or do you have an automated response setup?
We have automated. We have people. That's why I have 35 people, right? Because literally we have to go through 300 people to find the person on the average. We respond in real time. The next one, you do a really cool behavioral detailed assessment. You got to really, run amazing assessments. So there's some good stuff I can show you. You got a phone screening. You do Zoom interviews. You conduct background checks. You do references. You call it, make the competitive job offer, and you do a great onboarding process. That's the system. It's not that hard to do. But contractors don't do a lot of these. Now, if you've got time here, I can show you how to use AI to do some of it. Can I share a screen, or is that not doable?
Why don't you explain, since most of our listeners will be on audio.
Okay. So what you do is you go to ChatGPT, all right? And you say, I am a electrical contractor in Dallas. I do, $3 million worth of business. I'm looking for an electrician or a project manager. And you describe exactly what you're looking for. You talk about your business. You be as clear as you can be, because it doesn't know what you're talking about unless you tell it. And then you say you're the world's best HR person. You're an amazing marketing guy. And then you tell it, write me a job ad that's going to get somebody to quit their job and come to work for me. Write me the description of that job. Write me all the key performance indicators, the KPIs for that job. Give me 3 behavioral and 3 key performance indicators. Give me how much I have to pay that person. Tell me everywhere I need to place that ad, and give me at least 20 to 30 places to put it. And then after that, you say, develop an onboarding process and the ongoing process for this person. It will literally do it all in about 45 seconds. You're done.
That's all in one entry.
All in one entry.
That's pretty bad.
I mean, I could show you how it works. It's effing amazing. It is, people look at this and go, oh my God, I can't believe it does that. Right. So the good news is it will do that. Right. And that it didn't have that a year ago. Right.
Yeah.
Back.
What?
How are you screening all the applicants? So if you end up getting a ton of applicants, how do you? So you said you have 35 people.
Use an applicant tracking system, right? An applicant tracking, an ATS. An ATS. When we place the ad in our ATS, it goes everywhere it can possibly go in real time. The minute they apply, it responds in real time. And then also, we rank we try to use it for screening, but the problem is it's wrong 10% of the time, but you never know when the 10% is. It's like a person that lies at 10% of the time. You can't know what they're telling the truth. They never know the 10% they're lying. So we can't use AI yet. We use AI to help us, but we still have real people look at all those resumes.
Yeah.
We go through like 6,000 or 7,000 a week.
And then Paul, you last time we were talking, you were telling me about that behavioral assessment, which I thought was interesting.
Right.
And you had talked about different skill sets requiring different.
Well, we have 50 or 60 behavioral assessments. I mean, there's everyone from, you have a green card to speak English, the real basics, to what's your mechanical skills. I can create an assessment exactly for the person looking for. And the good news, since we've done 400,000 or 500,000 of these, I know we profile everybody. So I know like exactly what an electrician needs to look like that's going to work out, or a project manager, or whatever. We've already done thousands of these. We profiled that position and we run their their assessment against what we know works. And we can tell you whether they have the right personality. We can tell you whether they have the right integrity. We can tell you whether they have intelligence. Some things we can't ask. How old are you? What do you look like? How strong are you? So we do a video interview, which covers the rest of it. So between the assessment and the video interview, and then we also do personal interviews if we have to. We do background checks, reference checks. That's what we don't miss very often. But that's what the contractor needs to do, but they don't do.
Yeah.
And
is it reasonable for them to do that?
What?
Is it reasonable for them to do that, or is that why you've been able to build such a successful recruiting?
That's why I built a business, because I mean, how is a 12-person company going to have an HR department? It's not.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Now, if you got 200 or 300 employees, fine, you got an HR department. In fact, our biggest people to deal with are HR people, right? Because they see us as a super threat because we're a fraction of the cost and do a really good job. So if they've got an HR person in place, we generally don't get a shot because the HR person goes, no, I'm good. We're good. We don't need these guys. But if you haven't got a full-time HR person, we're great because we come in and do all that stuff they would do at a fraction of the cost.
Yeah. Paul, I feel like you are AI, you're saying you're like, I know everything. I know the exact.
I'm a cyber human being because I have a phone, right? And so I do know everything. Just give me a second to ask.
Yeah.
We'll call this
in my brain yet, but we're working on it, right?
Yeah. We'll call this the AI Paul episode.
Right.
Yeah. Paul, one thing you should consider doing, I don't know if it's legal to do so, but it'd be kind of interesting to create a little tool on your website where people can query all that data, right? So like a ChatGPT interface that asks what makes a good electrician.
300,000 people in our database, but it's our database.
Yeah.
When you come to work for us, when you hire to work for you, we search those 300,000 plus we search all of it. We'll find somebody. The only time we miss guys is if you're in the middle of Canada, there's no town for like 600 miles. It's 20 below zero and you want a project manager. We probably can't find the guy.
Yeah.
And the other one, if you're not paying a reasonable salary, that doesn't work either. But if you're anywhere there's people, just people, and anywhere that you're paying a reasonable salary, you hardly ever fail.
Yeah. Okay. What about you had said that for certain roles in the construction company, there's a limiting belief that they need to have experience in construction. You said great selections coordinators, wedding planners. That makes sense.
Absolutely.
Do you ever recommend when it comes to skilled trades, like trying to hire and mentor, and maybe you have an existing?
I mean, the problem is most people, hire fast and fire slow, which is the problem, right? So they don't have train the guy. That's their problem because they haven't been recruiting all the time. In a perfect world, you're recruiting journeyman, apprentice, as well as, leads all at the same time. You're building up, like, name me any sports team that doesn't have some kind of a recruiter, right? Doesn't have a scout. Right. I just got the other day, hires painter says, the best painters we get move into town and we got to get to them first. It was in Portland, right? So we need to be, when a new painter moves into Portland, they got to know we're looking. We can't wait till we need somebody. Because we're recruiting all the time. So it's not that hard a problem to solve. It's like marketing will solve the demand problem and we can solve the employee problem. We do it for, 300 companies. But unfortunately, contractors tend to be rather frugal. And I will tell you, you're an dynamic guy. What do you think the cost is on the average of hiring a bad employee? This is, you can look it up, but take a guess.
50.
I told you, you're right. $50,000.
Wow.
So
50K?
I mean, it's crazy, right? And they go, oh, I can hire all the people they need for $17,000 a year all in. They go, I can't afford that. That's bullshit. I mean, one bad guy will cost you 50 grand because he screws up, he messes up, or she messes up. They do the wrong thing. They piss people off. And then what really gets bad, when you fire them, they sue you because they find their brother-in-law is an attorney or something. So, it is crucial that you do a good job of recruiting. And this industry, if you have great clients and you have great employees, it's an awesome industry. I love it. But if
Paul, how do you get around like the prospects in your pipeline, right? You've got builders coming to you, you're trying to get engagements signed up. Is it SIG or SLAs, whatever, doesn't matter. You get the agreement signed. When they reject the idea that hiring the wrong employee costs $50K and they'd rather do it the cheap way or whatever, how do you respond to that? Is it an educating moment? Is it calling them out? You're a fool.
Good news, my closing ratio is about 90% if somebody's going to listen. The thing is, if you can do it yourself, great. If you've been able to build an awesome team and you have no problem in finding high quality people that do exactly what you want to do, hey, go for it. You're there. That isn't most contractors. But if you're one of the 10% that do that, we don't need us. Do a great job. But if you're having a hard time finding quality people and the people you have aren't working out, that's where we can help.
No. The question is when you have a prospect that rejects your idea of, I can provide this with 300,000 people in my system and we find people and we got to reach them in 30 seconds and you do your pitch and they say, there's no way this is worth it, Paul. And there's no way that it cost me $50K. What do you tell them?
Good luck. I was like, no. I mean, I
kick rocks. Yeah.
I mean, I can say, pound sand, right? I test life lightly, whatever. It's just you can't find people's belief, right? If they believe, it's just sort of like someone saying, I don't need to market. I'm pounding on my reputation. Hey, go for it, right? If that works for you, fine. Or, I don't need to do accounting. I do it on, nobody does accounting manually anymore, but it's the same thing. The hardest thing to do is convey people's beliefs because they're ingrained and they have a lot of evidence supporting that, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that is an interesting point. Yeah, that's especially on the sales side. How much time do you spend trying to change someone's mind versus just finding people?
I just look at if they're interested and they have a problem, I can fix it. If they go, hey, do it yourself. If it's working for you, great. If you can find high quality people, if you don't have to market, everybody beats the path to your door, then don't do marketing, don't do recruiting, you're good, right? But keep in mind the environment is changing because if there used to be 20 roofing companies in, Topeka, Kansas, there's going to be 4. It's sort of like the downtown guy saying, hey, Walmart's not going to last. Who cares about Target, right? Amazon's a fad, Good luck. I mean, in the music industry, CDs are good. I don't need to think about anything else, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you just hang in there, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, if that's true, what you're saying, which I have heard, is that a lot of private equity firms are investing in, the trades, like buying up electricians, buying up roofers. If that's true, then it is like more imperative than ever that contractors like adopt technology, right?
You've got to do it. You cannot ignore technology. You can't say, I'm not going to use project management systems. I'm not going to do marketing. I'm not going to do recruiting. I think, how long did it take to totally disrupt the music industry? 10 years, maybe?
You're talking about
after the iPod, think about when the iPod came out and how fast everyone had iTunes accounts and everyone was syncing their credit card to it to buy 99-cent songs.
Anymore? I mean, come on.
No.
They don't exist, right?
Yeah.
And so it's when technology disrupts something like that, once it hits, it happens really fast. Just like, if you look at Amazon, I live in Hawaii. If it wasn't Amazon, I'd be in trouble because I can get anything I want on Amazon. I can have a part for my boat delivered in, 5 days. So, you just better, cheaper, faster. Same thing when you go to, why do you go to Target? Why do you go to Walmart? Why do you go to Safeway? Why do you go to Home Depot?
Totally.
I mean, and the entire distribution system has been entirely shifted, right? I mean, now people literally, if you want some weird thing, you go to Amazon and find it at your doorstep in 4 days. That didn't used to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not participating in that, and you're going to be in big trouble. And contractors that don't participate in technology, whether it's recruiting or accounting or just normal business systems, they're just going to be gone.
Yeah. Yep.
Do you think, and I think that's like a really interesting point, especially for the listeners. I mean, I personally think it's just going to happen organically. Like the opportunity for those 20 roofers in Topeka, Kansas to go down to 4. I think it's going to come from like people retiring, that severe interest or disinterest rather in adopting technology. But for the people that want to capture that market, do you think that that's more so just going to be organically people retiring, going out of business, closing up the doors? And then there's going to be some random 4 people that are like, hey, I'm still here. Or do you think that it's going to be a combination of having everything applied and then the whack is going to happen?
I mean, I'm seeing it more and more where somebody is coming in town and they're buying up,
Just PE.
I mean, they make you an offer you can't refuse. I just had a guy who had who was a production builder, small production builder, and they said, well, you got 2 choices: either sell to us or we'll come in and put you out of business. Take A or B. Which one you want to do? I mean, it's legit. You can't. It's not illegal. It's fine.
Yeah.
They can either buy you and take your $60 million company and give a fair price for it, or come in and wipe you out because they've got economies of scale that you don't have. And so when you're looking, the good news about the industry, guys, is it's not that expensive. I mean, we're inexpensive. You're inexpensive. Market technology has made this stuff really affordable to the small guy, right? And he can, what's ChatGPT? It's $20 a month, and he gets access to $1 billion worth of technology, right? Mm-hmm. So it's not like I think it's a great opportunity for the small guy because the technology is available. It's not like you had to build a steel factory in the old days, right? I remember having giant. It doesn't take any capital. It just takes smarts.
Yeah, totally. Well, and I think that goes back into like your thesis on trying to convince people's beliefs, right? Because when you sit here and I'll speak mainly like on adaptive standpoints. Like when you start sitting here and you're like, you can buy $300 a month worth of software to automate 10, 15 hours a week of manual labor, regardless of what you're paying that labor out at. It's still a wash, not only just from like a straight up swap on labor cost, but on the time delay that you cut out of the equation that gets you accessibility to information that allows you to make better decisions to business. Right? It's like having that type of logic. And I don't see hand over fist people having that type of logic. Right.
I mean,
I see there's a lot of early adopters. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, what's going to happen? It's just like when any industry gets disrupted, right? I mean, how many small town local pharmacies have you been to lately?
Never. I don't think
they don't exist, right? And how many CDs have you bought? Right.
Never.
I mean, so it's
20 years ago.
Right. So it isn't going to happen. I mean, you can ignore it, and that's fine, and you go your way and retire. That's good. You do that. But if you're going to stay a viable player, you cannot ignore technology. It's just people that have tried it have always lost.
Interesting. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, this was a great episode. Paul, what are the main takeaways? What do we got? So we got, pay attention.
The main takeaways, I'm going to go through them really fast. Okay.
We don't need to go through the beliefs all over again. We're going to go through the beliefs.
Okay. So the main takeaways are: don't let yourself get in the way. I mean, that's a big one, right? I mean, use technology for what it's for. Don't ignore it, whether it's in marketing or it's recruiting or it's accounting. Explore the technology and use it to your best ability, and you can stay competitive because some of your competition is going to, and you're going to win.
Yep. I think that's the main takeaway. And then I also liked your point though on recruiting specifically that, so long as you put in the work, you can find good people, and you're proof of it, right?
I mean, it's sort of like, I'm sure you have people that go, oh, I can't find any good clients. That's a marketing problem, right? And you can solve that. I can't find good employees. We can solve that. That's a recruiting problem. I can't do my accounting. That's an accounting problem. I mean, the good news is there's more solutions available than ever at less expense than ever in the history of this world. You just have to take advantage of them. And you can literally go to your phone with ChatGPT and say, give me 3 best accounting softwares and how they work. It'll tell you. You can say, I don't get it. I mean, I know contractors that literally don't know what ChatGPT is, and that's sort of scary.
Yeah.
They have no clue. I mean, It was even scarier when I went to my dentist and he didn't know what it was. Like, oh my God, I'm in trouble now, right? So it is, you early adopter. I mean, maybe that's our word, but just AI, it's so available.
Yep.
And that's really what you need to do. Just, get it, ChatGPT, ask it the right questions, and it'll give you the right answers. But give it enough information that it knows what it's doing. It's an exciting time to be around because before it used to be really expensive to do this stuff, right?
Yep.
I mean, like the accounting software they're getting used to be a full-time accountant. Now it's cost you $300 a month. It used to be, a full-time HR department. Now it's $1,500 a month. It used to be a full-time marketing department. Now it's like $2,000 a month and you're done. Mm-hmm. So it's a great time to be alive, but you've got to be actively seeking new technology and using it to stay competitive.
Yep. And then if you're still stuck, got to give Paul a call. Got to call Paul.
If you're having problem recruiting, I'm the guy. I can help you for sure. All right.
Better call Paul. We can make a series out of it.
There we go.
Sounds good.
Cool. All right, Paul. Thanks for coming on. This was great.
I appreciate
it. It was awesome.
Right.
See you, Paul.